Hey beauties, good afternoon to you. You know, beautiful people, with my posts, I ensure I try my best, or I endeavor for people to learn, because I don't want maybe some of the mistakes that I have made and other people have made for it to continue to the next generation and to the next generation. Remember, we need to emancipate ourselves from mental, from psychological, from emotional, from financial, from social, from spiritual, ultimately slavery, because too many of us are enslaved in all those alleys that I mentioned, and predominantly among the black community, or within the black community, the black populace, where only 1% of black people across the world are wealthy. It speaks to this world called dunceness, something that I detest, I abhor, I loathe, I simply hate, because I know it is to our demise, as I mentioned, in all the alleys, mentally, spiritually, financially, psychologically. And when I talk about dunce, I don't only mean illiteracy, that's a part of it, but I'm talking about having a simpleton mindset, being an oaf, being adult, not using comprehension skills because you were not taught mental ability. Some may call it ability. You were not taught critical thinking skills. And that is why sometimes when you go on posts and somebody's talking about the sun and how bright it is, you leave with the impression, or you leave with a message, even when it was clearly stated, very clear communication that the sun is out and bright. You leave cursing and quarreling and being cantankerous and vulgar that somebody stepped on your dog, while the conversation was about the brightness and the brilliance of the sun. My beautiful black people, one of the reasons why some of us beg you, go back to school, get a good education. Even if you want to go into your area of gifting and talent, you can do that, because the Bible actually talks about in your gifts and your talents make you become wealthy. That is why he says he gives you the power to become wealthy. What is the power? The Spirit of God empowers you to use your gifts, whether it is singing, whether it is dancing, whether it is acting, whether it is writing, communication, whatever gift, if it's cutting the grass, painting the wall, whatever it is that you know you're gifted and you're talented in, you see yourself having that passion, that zeal, that ignited feeling, that unction and that move, then you know you will become wealthy if God so desires, and if you are smart and you work within the laws of God. But you have to cripple what is called dunce. Dunce do not only mean illiteracy, where you literally cannot read or write, and you have to go through learning literacy to learn how to know how to read and to write. My beautiful black people, it is time for us to move that percentage of 1% of the black people are wealthy in this world. We need to get it up to even 10%. Even 10%, and that is still too low. But we have to first emancipate ourselves from educational slavery. We need to be woke and stay woke. We need not to be asleep anymore. I am tired of seeing us as black people begging and groveling. You know, it's like we can't seem to own anything. We're not taught the fundamentals, and that is why sometimes I have some sort of compassion towards my black people, in a sense, because 400 years and more of slavery, it cements some bad habits and bad practices. And you know the main one, malicious envy, or malignant jealousy. You know that those two amigos have crippled the black race psychologically, mentally, emotionally. People have lost friendships because of those two amigos. People have lost out on wealth because of those two amigos. They have lost out on getting a good family, on the best family. They had to settle for the better. Some had to settle for the good because of envy and jealousy. They ended up having to just let go of the best. The best run away from them. So the better is the enemy of the good, better is the enemy of the best, and good is the enemy of the better, simply because of a word called dunce. dunce among the black people. Again, I'm not only referring to illiteracy, but I'm referring to a simpleton mindset, an off, like a doltish mindset. Somebody who you wonder if they're each day they open up the brain and they take it out, squeeze it, put it under their feet and walk in the hot burning sun. And they just put some rock stones or some rats and some cats where the brain should have been occupied. The way how they reason, their level of emotional intelligence, you can't even speak to them because they will lose all control. One of the fundamental fruits of the Holy Spirit is self-control. When you have self-control, you have balance in your life. You can charter many courses. The things that you would want to do, you can do it, but you cannot do that devoid of self-control. It's a fundamental fruit that every human being should possess. Notice I say the word should, because it's really pointless to say must, because not everyone will, just as how not everyone will make it into the heavenly pearly gates where Jesus resides, where he has made his many mansions for us, where we're going to be walking on streets of gold. His carpet they're filled with diamonds and emeralds and rubies, onyx, all these precious stones and metals and elements. My beautiful black people, we have to educate ourselves. I don't want this slogan to continue that if you want to hide anything from black people, put it in a book. We can change it. We can change it. We have to be determined, because I'm determined from my generation continuing that we're going to be wealthy people. Not just wealthy because we want to show off. Yes, we want to look good. We want to boast in God, show off in God, not show people that and give the impression like we're better than people. We're not. Some of us are just a little bit more privileged materially or mentally or psychologically or physically, but the reality is that we're all going a similar place first. When we die initially, we're going to die physically. We need to get rid of dunce from our mindset. We need to get rid of dunce from our psyche. We need to get rid of simpleton. We need to get rid of being an oaf, an adult, from our minds and from our soul man. Remember, the soul man is what causes you to do what you do on a day-to-day basis consistently. People who you see are nasty, and I don't mean literally nasty like throwing down dirty things in their homes and they don't wash their hands when they use the bathroom. That is awful, But I'm talking about their spirit is evil and wicked. It was something that was cultivated when they were younger. They didn't just become evil and wicked. Even when tragedies and challenges come, tragedies and challenges only show what you have been taught in previous years. So it's like you study for an exam, and then if you pass your exam with flying colors and you got 100%, it told the story that you studied very hard. So people who display vitriolic behavior and they're rancorous, and they're negative, it is the training that they got when they were younger, years prior, and then they decided to showcase it because the exam now came. They had to take the exam through adversity, through trials, through challenges, and through tests. One of the main ones is envy and jealousy. I've been in situations where people, the first time I enter somewhere, as I enter the room, I feel it. I feel the energy. And I said, I know that this person is going to make my life a living nightmare. I didn't speak it, but you just know it. You feel it. Especially if they hold certain positions. And so said, so done. And if it were not for the grace of God, where would I be? And we understand the reality of why we were there, why we went to envy and jealousy, because it is in all of us. When that feeling comes upon me, I say, Lord, move this from me and let me employ love, support, unity, harmony. And we understand that slavery damaged us. It created a defect. But we serve an effective and an efficient God who can remove and just take off the D and make us effective. Put on the IVE and another F to make it effective. But we have to get rid of dunce. It means that we're still in that simpleton mindset, because if you're aware and if you're woke and you know that slavery has caused you to be maliciously envious and malignantly jealous, then you say, no, I'm not going to live here anymore. I can unlearn. It's going to take time, and I'm going to relearn the right ways. But it is all up to you, my black brothers and black sisters. We have to really truly understand what it means to be free, and we have not begun to understand and to comprehend that as yet. Stay blessed, and you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube.